Renunciation is the quintessence of spirituality. Another word for Vedanta is renunciation. If at all you say that you are studying Vedanta, you are understanding Vedanta, you are a practitioner of Vedanta, it means the spirit of renunciation is evolving, developing more and more. If the spirit of renunciation is not there, it means there is no Vedanta at all. For the quintessence of spirituality is renunciation. It is not about God, it is not about peace, it is not about happiness, it is not about bliss, it is not about any of these. It is about renunciation. And nobody wants to talk about this word renunciation. Because renunciation பத்தி பேசினா இருக்கிற 10 பேரும் they will run away. Yeah. So why talk about renunciation? And people advocate evolution as possible without referring to renunciation. People advocate growth is possible without renunciation, and everybody buys it also because it's an easy bargain. No, it's easy. You get the highest for no price at all. No, what a deal it is. So the first thing, the quintessence of Vedanta is renunciation. The idea is repulsed by the modern society. The idea is repulsed by the modern society. The vast majority of the society is repulsive to this idea of renunciation. The minority misunderstands the concept of renunciation itself. So either way, nobody understands renunciation. That's what he's saying first. The first point that you have to understand is the vast majority of human beings is repulsed by the idea of renunciation, and the minority misunderstands renunciation. The Sanskrit words for renunciation is vairagya, sannyasa. These are the technical terms, Sanskrit technical terms for this concept of renunciation. The society is very repulsive to the idea of renunciation because they believe renunciation means somebody will enjoy your possessions and you have to suffer. Yeah. Somebody will be enjoying your wealth and your possessions while you are sitting and suffering, which looks very absurd. Therefore, this sannyasa is a very wrong thing. This is why people are repulsive against the very idea of sannyas. Few sannyasis are enough to change the world. Few sannyasis is enough. That's all. You don't need them in hundreds and thousands. The world can't survive. Just a few. No, you can count them by fingers. A few of them is enough to help the world. What he's saying in this analysis is he's removing both the misconceptions about sannyasa. What are all making people believe what sannyasa is? As a result of which they are having repulsiveness towards sannyasa is removed. Second thing is, what is the misunderstanding behind sannyasa is also removed. The third thing is, without sannyasa there cannot be spiritual evolution without sannyasa. For the uparati, the dharana, the dhyana is all nothing but renunciations intensified. Sannyasa getting intensified is what uparati, dharana, dhyana is all about. Are you able to follow? The three paths, karma, bhakti, jnana, yoga leads to uparati, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Now, what is this uparati, dharana, dhyana, samadhi? This uparati, dharana, dhyana is nothing but intensified sannyasa getting more and more refined. Sannyasa getting more and more intensified, refined, bettered. So, there is a lot of misunderstanding about sannyasa. First misunderstanding about sannyasa is the robe. The first misunderstanding about sannyasa is the color of the color. Yeah. Second is you can do, a sannyasi can do anything. Only one thing he should not do is what? Only one thing a sannyasi must not do. But he can do everything else. What? What is the notion of sannyasi? That is why when you want to talk bad about a sannyasi, what is the first thing that people talk about? Sannyasi means he can do anything but not get married. Yeah, he should not marry. That's all. Marry means he should not have relationship with. He can do anything, but he should not have his own family. Yeah. He can have properties, he can have wealth, he can have ashramas, 165 countries, 165 ashramas he can have, but only one thing he should not have is what? ஒரு வைஃப்னு இருக்கக்கூடாது, பசங்கன்னு இருக்கக்கூடாது. இல்லன்னா he's a sannyasi. Yeah. He says first misconception is that has got nothing to do with sannyas. The first thing. The second thing is, that's what he descriptively saying it as barefooted, bareheaded, living in seclusion of the forests. Yeah. And all this doesn't apply because you don't see any sannyasi going barefooted. You don't see any sannyasi. Yeah. Bareheaded, nangadan bareheaded are. Yeah. No sannyasi is barefooted, no sannyasi is bareheaded, no sannyasi is living in the seclusion of the forest, or the sannyasi's houses are centrally air-conditioned house, isn't it? Room air conditioning, central air-conditioned house. I'm not saying it has got, people misunderstand that to be sannyas. So one set has a misunderstanding about sannyas, another set wrongly practices sannyas. As a result of which, what has happened? The misunderstanding and the wrong practices has made people bereft of spiritual evolution. Therefore, you find so much of talk about spirituality is going on, so much of discussion about spirituality is going on, but very few evolved, you find very few evolved religious person. Why? Because there is no renunciation at all. What is renunciation? Renunciation in its true form is the greatest consolation to those who suffer from worldly attachment and desire. Consolation here means not that consolation. What the word consolation here in the context means, the remedy for those who are suffering from attachment and desire. Consolation means the remedy here. You should understand it as remedy. The remedy in its true form, renunciation provides the remedy to those who suffer from worldly attachment and desire. And when it is intensified, it draws out the divinity in a human being. So sannyasa draws out the divinity. Two things it does. One is it gives you freedom from worldly attachment and desire. Freedom from that worldly attachment and desire. Renunciation is the fragrance that a spiritually evolved person releases while performing his obligatory duties and responsibilities. Renunciation is the sublime fragrance. Renunciation is the fragrance that a spiritual person releases while doing his duties and responsibilities. First is karma kuru, do your duty, and then niyatam karma. First is do action. First step, do action. Second step is do obligatory actions. Third step is do obligatory action with detachment. Sir, detachment vandirthinale obligation poiduthe. Obligation is only because of attachment. So where a person is detached, where is the question of obligation after detachment? For obligation itself arises only out of attachment. Yeah. That is our problem. That's where we have a problem in understanding this sublime trait of renunciation. Not a weak resignation. And those are the spiritual stalwarts. Who are the spiritual stalwarts? Who stood up, who stood out because of them having the trait of renunciation. So, what is the wrong understanding? What is the wrong practice? And what is renunciation truly? It is the solution to the problems of life, and it is the solutions to the problem of death. It is the solace of life, and it will be the solace of death. How it can be the solace of life? It's the remedy to attachments, and it is the remedy to gain freedom from desires. Solace of death means a human being is afraid of death or do not want to die because of what? Unfinished tasks. This person here has no unfinished tasks. Therefore, solace of life and solace of death. What is the fragrance of renunciation while performing obligatory duties and responsibilities? A human being, fragrance means cheerfulness is the fragrance of human being. being cheerful. A person of renunciation can be cheerful. Rest are all carrying a burden. How can they be cheerful when you are carrying a burden?